Coralogix uses PromQL to control, analyze, visualize, and render metrics. PromQL is very useful because it's basically used across most of the industry because the Prometheus open source metrics aggregation solution is probably one of the most common open source solutions that are out there for metrics at the moment. Coralogix is very big on open source, so it works for us, so we've used it. So what we're going to do today is just have a very brief introduction to some of the basic concepts of PromQL. This isn't a comprehensive PromQL tutorial, so I would recommend reading the PromQL documentation just to make sure that you are up to date on it. But here's some basics. So your metrics are all broken down to different time series. So if I start to type, for example, you can see lots of different time series metrics. For example, I'll take, for example, the DB statement latency that I just had. Now you can see here that when I highlight this, the custom dashboard view, which is what this is by the way, updates, you can see it's using metrics as a source, which is why I have that there. And you can see all of these different values. Now all of these different values are different combinations of the labels that are on a metric. A label is just a given index that's held against the metric. So for example, if I open this up, I can see that this particular metric has CX source, DBMS, service, and statement. Now, the first basic thing we'll cover is filtering. So I can take DBMS, for example, type equals, and I get the values, DynamoDB, Postgres, and Redis. So let's just do Redis, for example. Now when I select Redis, I'll see that we have a latency here, which is actually very, very, it's measured in like nanoseconds or something. But you can see here that we have all of these different values on all of these different time series representing them. So now we filtered, we're just looking at Redis. If we want, we can actually group those, so we can perform an aggregation. For example, if I get rid of the DBMS filter, that's going to make things a bit easier. So we go back to having everything, so not just Redis, but also the other different DBMSs as well, DynamoDB, for example. We can then do like average. We can average this here, and bearing in mind we can also filter inside of this if we wanted to, if we so choose. So now it's the average just generally, but then we can do an average by, and we can type, for example, DBMS there. And what that will give us is the average latency by each DBMS. So we can see, for example, that we have DynamoDB here running in the middle, Redis as very, very sort of all over the place, high variance, and Postgres is consistently very, very low. Now this is in sort of nanoseconds. So what we can do is we can actually divide by 10,000. And this is how you do basic arithmetic there. So you can actually do basic arithmetic. This will actually divide the value of the metrics, nothing to do with the labels here. So what we've done in this tutorial is we've looked at a metric series, we've filtered it based on a given label. We've then grouped it by one of those labels, DBMS, and you can see here Dynamo, Redis, Postgres. And then we've done a basic calculation here. So you can do that. You can also do the alternative. You can multiply if you want to. You can do whatever you like. So this is a very basic introduction to PromQL and some of the syntax. Read the PromQL documentation. There is lots and lots available, and this should make it really easy for you to manipulate metrics in the Coralogix platform.